Hey folks, E-King here, and in this video, we're going to discuss the discriminating practices of the Delta airline flight attendant that's trending all over social media right now. So if you haven't seen it on Facebook yet, let me fill you in real quick. But matter of fact, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the latest. Okay, so getting back on the Grizzly here, Delta Airlines, and more specifically, Delta flight attendant, and this woman here have been trending all over social media. And let's take a look and see why.
This is what a doctor looks like is trending. Here's why. Jamaica Cross, she's a black doctor. She was on Delta flight. She volunteered to help a man who needed medical attention, but the flight attendant allegedly didn't believe her. Cross went on Facebook actually posting this. I raised my hand to grab her attention. She said to me, "Oh, no, sweetie, put your hand down. We're looking for actual physicians or nurses or some type of medical personnel. We don't have time to talk to you."
Oh, God.
Now, doctors are posting pictures of themselves like you see right here using the hashtag "this is what a doctor looks."
Okay, so you know me. Before I speak on it, I'm going to check it out and corroborate as much as I can. Not that I really needed to in this case, but it's just a good habit to get into, so that's what I did. So I pulled up the UT Health site, and sure enough, there she is, right? All right, so in just a second, I'm going to read exactly what Dr. Cross posted on her Facebook page. But before we do, I want to talk about a reoccurring theme that I keep seeing with these big corporations whenever they get into hot water, okay? I'm seeing it with the Wells Fargo scandal. You see it with the police departments, which are corporations too, by the way. And if you need me to explain that to you, PM me and I'll break it down for you. But it's not the scope of this topic, so let's move on. But now we're seeing that same reoccurring theme with Delta Airlines as well. And that is that they make this superficial announcement of how they are the epitome of excellence, and this discrimination is the exception and not the rule to their daily operations. And to that, I'm going to call BS, okay? Because, you see, not only am I holding the flight attendant responsible, if I was Dr. Cross, but I would also going to go ahead and hold upper management's feet to the fire as well. You see, because your staff is a direct reflection of the management. So this type of behavior is not the exception and is in fact the rule. All right. And if they want to hold on to this lie and stick to their guns and say that it's not, then I hope Dr. Cross will challenge their ability to make smart hiring choices, because obviously they're not. Now, if you look on Delta's site, they say that they did try to reach out to her and talk to Dr. Cross. And Dr. Cross, I hope that you didn't give them the time of day. What you need to do is go ahead and lawyer up and let Delta talk to your attorneys. And if you don't have an attorney, call me. Okay, I got a friend that's one. Matter of fact, he sued a couple of police departments on behalf of women officers and won. So he'll hook you up. Anyway, man, let me calm down here. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. Let me calm down so that we can read exactly what it is that Dr. Cross wrote on her Facebook page. So at the time that I made the making of this video here, I was just able to do a simple search on Facebook. Her name pops right up. And let's take a look at what Dr. Jamaica Cross has to say about her flight experience coming back from Michigan. Okay, so she says, I'm sure many of my... Sorry about that. Let me scroll back up here just a second here. I'm sure that many of my fellow young corporate America working women of color can understand my frustration when I say I'm sick of being disrespected. I was on Delta Flight DL945, and someone 2 rows in front of me was screaming for help. Her husband was unresponsive. I naturally jumped into doctor mode as no one else was getting up. Unbuckled my seatbelt and threw my tray table up, and as I'm about to stand up, the flight attendant says, "Everyone stay calm. It's just night terrors. He's all right." So I continue to watch the scene closely. A couple of minutes later, he is unresponsive again, and the flight attendant yells, "Call overhead for a physician on board." I raise my hand to grab her attention, and she said to me, "Oh no, sweetie, put your hand down. We are looking for actual physicians or nurses or some type of medical personnel. We don't have time to talk to you." I tried to inform her that I was a physician, but I was continually cut off by condescending remarks. Then, overhead, they paged, "Any physician on board, please press your button." I stare at her as I go to press my button. She said, "Oh, wow, you're an actual physician?" I replied, "Yes." She said, "Let me see your credentials. What type of doctor are you? Where do you work? Why were you in Detroit?" Please remember, this man is still in need of help, and she is blocking my row from even standing up while bombarding me with questions. I respond, "OBGYN, work in Houston, in Detroit for a wedding, but believe it or not, they do have doctors in Detroit. Now, excuse me so I can go and help the man in need." Another seasoned white man approaches the row and says he's a physician as well. She says to me, "Thanks for your help, but he can help us, and he has credentials." Mind you, he hasn't shown anything to her, just showed up and fit the description of a doctor. I stay seated. Now, Dr. Cross, I beg to differ with you just a little bit. He did show his credentials, okay? And the credentials that he showed was his skin. All right, enough said. So lost my train of thought here. Okay, so mind blown, blood boiling, man is responding to his questions and is seemingly better now, thank God. Then this heifer has the nerve to ask for my input on what to do next 10 minutes later. So I tell her we need vitals and blood sugar. She comes back and reports to me that BP is 80/50, which is super low for all you non-medical peeps. And they can't find a glucometer. We continue down the path of medical workup, but the point is she needed my help, and I continued to help despite the choice of words I had saved up for her. The patient and his wife weren't the problem. They needed help, and we were mid-flight. She came and apologized to me several times and offered me Sky Miles. I kindly refused. This is going higher than her. I don't want Sky Miles in exchange for blatant discrimination. You go, girl. Whether this was race, age, gender discrimination, it's just not right. She will not get away with this, and I still will get my Sky Miles. Go for you. You go, Dr. Cross. And it also, this whole thing, I tell you what, those of you all that follow my channel and watch my videos know that usually I am not at a loss of words, but this one's got my blood boiling, such to the point that it is hard for me to just formulate thoughts. But it blows my mind that in 2016, there is a certain type of people that has been vilified and degraded so much that mainstream society can't even imagine black people working in professional fields. And that's what this boils down to, I should say. You know, you can look out elsewhere out here on the internet and you'll see videos and reports about and see Delta's response to this. And there doesn't, but their Delta's response is neutral. They're not trying to diss, and they're looking into it. They're getting everybody's side of the story before they make a determination, which just kind of adds fuel to the fire, in my opinion. Because Paula Dean of the Delta Airlines needs to kick rocks and get sent down the road. She just needs to get promoted to customer and move on down the road. And I can tell you from this day forward, I'm done. You'll never see me on a Delta Airlines flight. Well, that's all I had to say about that, folks. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Just to know that myself and the entire Ben group is always watching over you. So just let me know if there's ever anything that I can do to help you out in business or otherwise.